What it is, everybody. We are live and on time today, I think, a couple minutes. It was going to go live earlier, but then I thought, well, is there any point? The Queen is on. Her show's just wrapping up, I think. And we are covering it for, I don't know, the 10th day in a row. But I might start with other news first because we do have a war upcoming. Well, we're trying to do regime change without a war at this time in Venezuela, which we'll see if we're successful at. But we are seizing assets. We are seizing oil. I have video of the oil seizing event that they released. So we boarded a vessel. We stole their oil like pirates. So actually, Pirates of the Caribbean, I guess, in this case. So we are openly trying to overthrow the Venezuelan government right now and replace it with a friendly government that'll put in our oil companies. So I'll make sure to cover that as well today. Candace Owens is wrapping up. I watched as much of her show as I could to keep myself up to date on the big news. It was kind of boring today. Yesterday was a more exciting show. Yesterday it was a cat fight. Yesterday, the gloves were off. Ladies. Erica Kirk was all over everything. She's all over everything right now, Erica Kirk. And, for example, the Blaze, there are clips not leaking, but there are promo clips being put out of her upcoming interview with Barry Weiss, the fat little Israeli troll. Or chubby, I should say. Chubby. She's not quite she's not going max on being fat. She's just chubby. Chubby, untalented Israeli agent, Barry Weiss. So that interview will be coming out, I guess, on Saturday. But there were some things leaked from it today. The thing that was leaked, it's not leaked. It's put out intentionally. The promo featured Erica Kirk telling Candace to stop twice. She said, stop. And I should get the clip of Candace Owens saying that she would stop if Erica Kirk told her to. But she's like, I'm not going to. She's very indignant, this Candace Owens character. Very indignant today. She is very upset at all of the people coming after her. But particularly Erica Kirk. And I understand, there's lots of these feelings about Erica Kirk. People make fun of her eyelashes, her makeup, her rings, her jewelry, her strangeness. And I don't mind. It's okay. Even though she is a widow, I guess she's fair game to insult, I guess. Although Candace... Well, we'll give you our opinions. We're trying to be welcoming to both Candace supporters and Candace deniers. And today we're going to feature Nick Fuentes' rant, who's taking it upon his shoulders, if necessary, to put a stop to Candace Owens. Hairway to Steven says this does need to stop, though. Candace Owens is insufferable. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to stop. I don't think it's going to stop. Although Nick Fuentes could do some serious damage, but I don't think it's going to make a difference with the ladies who listen to her show in particular. It's mostly male, right-wing accounts. Although I watched a video from a lady today who's upset with Candace Owens. There are ladies upset with her too. But most of the influencers are men in the first place that are going after her are male and from the right. And then there are several others who I believe are very skeptical and are afraid to criticize openly. I don't think Russell Brand is bought in 100%. On her side is left-wing commentator Jimmy Dore, who has turned into quite a conspiracy theorist. Him and his sidekick, Kurt? Is it Kurt? it's something weird, right? Like Kerp, they call him Kerp Mexican. He's a super conspiracy theorist, which is cool. To give you some background about this show, we are amongst the original YouTube conspiracy theorists ever. We have a badge. We have been multiple times removed from YouTube. Once after the Las Vegas shooting. If you want to talk about real conspiracy theories with evidence, or like real conspiracies where there really are unanswered questions, Las Vegas, 9/11, of course, the moon landing, JFK. There are many. And then I covered other ones, which I may or may not have been right about. But I understand the appeal of conspiracy theories. I understand also some people have accused her of mental illness. Several people are. I myself am occasionally mentally ill and have occasionally gone off the rails with conspiracy theories, which garnered me many views, but also garnered me many personal attacks by many accounts on YouTube. There were entire accounts created and which grew just based on attacking me, actually. So I've been around the block, 10 years on YouTube, or on and off. But so I feel like I can comment on it. I have changed over the years. In this case, I feel kind of good in a way that I wasn't on YouTube for a little while after the Charlie Kirk assassination, because that is when the conspiracy theorists or theories were the most viral, and you could get attacked quite a bit for going against the conspiracy theories. Right now, the field has opened, and now there's a bit of a balance. In fact, Candace Owens is standing on a bit of an island at this point. It's just that the island is maybe the size of Greenland because of how much influence and how many followers she has. I have the window open. I think her show's over. Yeah, it looks like people are tuning out. But she had 170,000 people tuned in. Most I've ever had tuned in was about 5,000. And on this show, we'll be happy to get to about 100. So we understand it's different. We are speaking into a void. She speaks to the masses. So we'll comment on it. I'll show you what Nick says. So we are, Standing Mannequin says, if you don't question the official narrative, you're in the wrong place. On this channel, well, I can't say that for 100% sure on this case. If the official narrative is what Candace Owens is saying, then yes, we're going to question that narrative. But actually the official narrative as far as Tyler Robinson, sigh. I wish, for the sake of clicks and super chats, that I was fully on board with the conspiracy theory regarding Charlie Kirk's death. However, I haven't been able to get there, even though I follow all the people who have gotten there, and I've watched the videos and I've watched the TikToks, I've watched the Instagram reels, and I've listened to the evidence that it's not the official story, as much of it as possible. And I just haven't been convinced 100% by anything. The biggest one is the bullet, 30-06. Like a lot of people say that it's impossible. And I respect that. I don't know enough. The government says they have the bullet and it turned inside of his body. Basically, it hit his spine and then turned, kind of like Bugs Bunny does when he makes the wrong turn and ends up in the wrong place. That's kind of what they're saying officially, I believe. Is that it hit his spine and then turned and then destroyed his spine and a bunch of his body too, which I can't refute. I just don't know enough. some people seem to be able to refute it. They say 30-06 goes through steel plates. There's lots of videos of it going through cinder blocks and stuff like that. So I get it. I get it all. So I'll give you my commentary every which way. I've been commenting on it. I know some people want to talk about other things, so we will. ChatGPT 5.2 came out today. I have a little news about that, and I have just general news about artificial intelligence, which we're following very closely, because actually artificial intelligence and robots are probably always the most important thing that's happening regarding the future of humanity. And what's happening with Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and everybody who's attacking Candace Owens and everyone who's supporting Candace Owens is really just kind of soap opera drama for cat ladies. I mean, and cat guys too, or whoever. It's just kind of drama. At this point, it is kind of meaningless in a lot of ways because they're not solving anything. And I don't think they're going to. The court case will solve to some extent for some people what really happened, but for a lot of people that won't be enough either. I don't see it stopping anytime soon, no matter what Nick does, no matter what anybody does. She is a theatrical performer who is able to manipulate her audience extremely effectively. She was recruited early on by right-wing agencies like PragerU and Ben Shapiro's company to be a manipulator for the right wing. She's very well spoken. If she is insane, she doesn't come across as insane. But I've also been clinically insane, and I seem to somehow come across reasonably too sometimes. So it's possible to be crazy and having a mental health episode and still make sense. So it's a talent. Although we're not accusing her, I'm just saying I have experience. So we're not going to discount that that's possible. Glenn Beck accused her of that today. So anyway, that's what's going on in the world. She doesn't talk about politics one bit. So is it affecting politics? Is it affecting the right wing? I just don't know. I mean, TPUSA, they're going the Israel direction, it seems like, even with Charlie Kirk's book promotion, which is the tour that Candace Owens is on. It's a promotion. The book might as well be called like How to Be a Good Jew or How to Be a Good Christian Jew or whatever. It's about the Jewish Sabbath, which actually I'm sympathetic to. Saturday might be the right day. And I think taking time out, if you have somebody to talk to, like your husband or wife or whatever, and you have kids and stuff, it's probably a good thing to do. So I'm actually not opposed to it. But Charlie was turning another direction, as Candace Owens showed. And the people who have taken over the company are trying to turn it back to be as pro-Israel as possible, it seems like to me. It seems like. So I'm skeptical of TPUSA. I'm skeptical of almost all charities and not-for-profit organizations. I think they're almost all scams to a certain extent. They're all just trying to raise money from suckers to pay salaries, pretty much pay like hefty salaries, maybe bribe people like TPUSA might be doing. And if anything, I've seen the accusation that it's all a cover-up, even from Candace, to not get people to be focused on the finances of TPUSA, which I think, if anything, has been exposed a little bit, is that they have shady finances. And if I were going to talk about it, I would talk about that as much as I had any information. But there's already a finance guy after their public filings and stuff. So Okay, so anyway, that's a little bit about Candace. We're going to play the clip from Nick. We are followers of Nick Fuentes, although I don't tune into his show every day, but his clips are everywhere. Going to show that. Going to show a little bit of him on Piers Morgan, because I tuned in for that interview. So I'll show you the controversial clips from that interview. I read an article from somebody, a boomer, talking about why people like Nick, and can talk about that a little bit too. Boats, the economy, Trump's response to the economy, healthcare, and 6G. Remember the 5G conspiracy theories? Remember those? How did that pan out? I never jumped on that either. Being in the conspiracy theory business, it turns out, is always a little bit difficult. Everyone had a 5G conspiracy that the microwaves were going to like melt our body and stuff. And now 5G's out and just faster phones and stuff. Doesn't seem like anything happened. But there's a chance for a new conspiracy. And actually, Trump kind of opened one up because phones are about to go 6G. Even more invasive. So I'll play you what Trump says about that. I'll give you the latest on AI. I'll give you the Palantir guy, who people say is either on drugs or is just weird, depending on who you believe, etc. So welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me. It helps the algorithm if you give me a thumbs up. And if you subscribe to the channel, it will help once I'm monetized if you give me super chats, but it still helps spiritually for you to give me money by going to buymeacoffee.com. I'm just kidding, but you can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and drop a coffee or 10 and leave a message, and I will refer to those coffees and read those messages and respond to requests if people make them at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Also, I have Cash App, $LTV411. They might monetize me again. Right now, I am not monetized. You can't give me super chats on YouTube, of which they take 30% anyway, because my channel is classified as harmful from the COVID-19 debacle, where I was actually had my channel deleted for about 5 years for telling the truth about vaccines. So you can also go to our store, truthclothing.io, where we are having a going out of business sale, and you are the winner because you can buy super high quality t-shirts, screen printed in America, t-shirts and at least one sweatshirt, at least a few baseball style shirts, all really high quality cotton or mixes. Like I said, printed in America, and will last a long time for $5 and $10 for the most part, including these best-selling Question Everything t-shirts, which are still available in some sizes, but many are sold out. And ladies, in particular, I noticed we still have some nice ladies tees. Question Everything, Lift the Veil for $5. These slouchies are Bella and Canvas. We have slouchies and then just women's tees. They're really nice. My now ex-wife was a fashion designer and picked out all this stuff and helped design the shirts, and did an incredibly good job. So check them out. $10 each, $5 each. Bitcoin shirts, crypto shirts are $5 mostly, sometimes 10. Truthclothing.io. So super chats, Truth Clothing to support the show. And now that we're 20 minutes into the show, we can play our intro right on time. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. Yes, the real news and what you could call fake news. You have to classify it. We will start with real news today. A few days ago, we boarded a vessel off the coast of Venezuela. Venezuela has more oil than any other country on earth, apparently. It's not nice oil. It's heavy crude, which takes a specific kind of refining. So when you see oil out there, you'll see something called light sweet crude. That's nice oil, which is nice, which people prefer, easier to refine. This stuff is heavy oil. It's dirty. It's filthy, like your mind, and it's a little harder to refine. However, we still like it. And we actually have refineries which are good at refining this dirty oil in the Gulf. We allow, the United States of America, like oil, we like to control resources, and we allow Chevron only to do business with Venezuela right now. Chevron does business with Venezuela legally. We currently buy oil from Venezuela. As much as we hate them, we're supporting the Maduro regime by buying his oil right now, still, apparently. They say when it gets really serious, we'll stop buying his oil. But as of right now, according to the Wall Street Journal, at least, we are still buying oil from Venezuela, which, like I said, we have specialized refineries in the Gulf of America that refine this dirty oil. And then I guess we use it in our country or maybe even export it from there. This is also a proxy war with China when you really think about it, because most of the oil, 50%, they say, of the oil from Venezuela goes to China. One of the only things China doesn't have that they need is oil on their own property. So China is beating us in a lot of ways. And there are some very smart people who think that they will be the new empire and overtake us. And considering the advancements they're making in robotics in particular, I'm not 100, and how much exporting they do, how much money they bring into their country through exports and actually producing things, which we don't do. They may be the dominant force in the world in the future. So don't discount it. We're better in a lot of ways, but we shouldn't take it for granted that China is not going to overtake us as the dominant world power with perhaps the dominant world currency. It's possible. So anyway, half of the oil from Venezuela, which has more oil reserves than any country in the world, goes to China right now. China set up their own refinery in Venezuela. And so when we steal oil from Venezuela, we are actually stealing cheap oil from China. And also when we're fighting with Russia, we're also fighting with China because China gets oil from all of our enemies, Iran, Venezuela, and Russia. So all of these proxy wars and stuff like that You could tie it all back to oil in a way. Iran, Russia, Venezuela all have a lot of oil, and we don't like them, and we don't want them to sell oil to anybody. But China likes them, buys their oil, and buys it for cheaper than the other nice oil that we produce ourselves. And also the Gulf states, which we're friends with, also produce in great quantities. So they pay less for this sanctioned oil, and we're at war with all of those countries in a way: Iran, Russia, Venezuela. So it's kind of a proxy war in that sense. This ship in particular, the justification for it is that this particular ship that we seized, which Donald Trump is the biggest ship ever seized, the biggest oil vessel ever seized, was sanctioned for transporting illegal oil, I believe from Iran also. They say most of the ships that transport oil from Venezuela are like old kind of pirate vessels that sell illegal oil around the world from these states that are out of favor with the West. So this particular one, they say the justification is that the United States have declared a bunch of people terrorists. That's why we're blowing up boats legally, because we call people terrorists, just like George W. Bush did, just like Obama did. We call people terrorists, and then we're allowed to do whatever the fuck we want, like blow up criminals who, without due process, which is actually illegal according to most legal scholars at this time, including right wing, including military lawyers. Everybody, almost any lawyer who's commented on it, says what we're doing with the boats is illegal. So now we may also be illegally seizing oil. It's kind of a first. And using the justification that the oil proceeds are going to fund terrorism. So that's basically our legal justification for this, is that this oil was being sold to finance terrorists. And we've classified Maduro as a narco-terrorist. Who knows if he actually is? But we just say it. So we've said he's the head of a drug cartel, but with no evidence. So we've said Maduro is the head of a drug cartel with no evidence, but he definitely makes money from oil dug out of his own country. And we have a pressure campaign to make Maduro leave his country, and we're going to install a puppet government, probably headed by that Peace Prize winner who happens to have just snuck out of that country and right before we seize the boat. So, and that puppet government is going to has already promised to put in American oil companies so we can make money off the oil. She's already said that explicitly. So is it about drugs or is it about oil? You decide. This is the video of it. It's silent, I'm sure. So we have, I don't know which military unit did this, but it's cool. Soldiers rappelling down ropes, boarding the ship with guns and pirating it, taking it over. They have their headsets on and stuff. Looks like they have night vision goggles during the day. You ever seen Three Kings? Great movie. It's great when he walks outside with his night vision goggles on. So anyway, this is the video, unclassified, released by the government of us seizing this ship. Donald Trump was asked what's going to happen with the oil, and he was like, I guess we're going to keep it. He basically just said, I guess we're going to keep it. He didn't even know. He was like, I guess we're going to keep it. Oh, that's cool. We just steal a boat with a ton of oil on board and just keep it and sell it. That's great. So anyway, that's what happened with the boat. Here is what the Nobel Prize winner won. And like they're obvious, like everyone is involved in trying to overthrow this government, which granted apparently stole the election. I mean, I'm not denying that. Maduro, I think the first time when we tried to install a fake government in Venezuela, Maduro had actually won the election. But this last time, it seems like he definitely stole it, according to international observers and stuff. So I'm not saying it's a legitimate government or anything, but Donald Trump theoretically said we shouldn't be involved in overthrowing governments. And now he's trying to overthrow a government, install a puppet who will let in our oil companies. So here's this broad talking about it.
Thank you all. And I want to speak to the Norwegian people, to European people, to the Venezuelan people. I would say to all citizens of the world in this hour, and assure you that I am very hopeful Venezuela will be free, and we will turn a country into a beacon of hope, an opportunity of democracy. And well, we will welcome not only the Venezuelans that have been forced to flee, but citizens from all over the world that will find a refuge, as Venezuela used to be decades ago. And as I mentioned, well, Ana Corina read yesterday, I believe that our experience in Venezuela conveys to the world a testimony that certainly in order to have peace, you require democracy. Democracy is the system that enables peace in a society. But you cannot have democracy without freedom. And freedom is an individual decision, a rational decision. And it's the sum of these individual conscious decisions that bring that collective ethos that creates the force, the strength, and the courage to fight for freedom,
democracy,
to defend it when you got it.
We're just going to
and that courage comes from
freedom,
the things that truly matter in your life, the things that you love. And when you feel that those things are most in danger, then the courage increases. That's why I am convinced that peace ultimately is an act of love. And that's what brought me here.
Peace
the love
strength
of millions of Venezuelans for our country, for freedom,
peace
and for our children.
Carriers.
And I believe there's no other generation in the history of Venezuela that loves more freedom, our family, and our soul, our territory, the possibility of actually being in your homeland, in moving freely in your homeland, because we have lost that. And as I mentioned to you, the force that brought this country, our nation together, was this longing that we want our children back home. And we will not stop until they do that. And we give them a country in which they can live with dignity, with justice, and the responsibility that comes with freedom. So we have great admiration for Norway's institutions and democracy. We shared benefits that nature has given us, and we admire the way this society has used them on behalf of your people. Quite the contrary of what has happened in Venezuela. So we have to learn, and we have used Norway as an example several times during these decades. And believe me, we will turn Venezuela into that energy, technological, and democracy hub of the Americas. And we count on you. And I long for that day, and we will host all of you in a bright, democratic, and free country. And it's going to be soon. So thank you very much, and very honored and grateful to the Nobel Committee for this recognition to the Venezuelan people, to a great movement. I'm just one of that millions of people that form it. And I do believe it is a recognition to democracy as well. So thank you very much.
She kind of has a Joker smile, and she did mention democracy a lot. I don't think when we overthrow the government that that's democracy. Here she is talking about how the United States will profit from her or somebody else like her becoming the ruler of Venezuela. Here it is, just spelled out.
Forget about Saudi Arabia. Forget about the Saudis. I mean, we have more oil. I mean, infinite potential. And we're going to open markets. We're going to kick off the government from the oil sector. We are going to privatize all our industries. Venezuela has huge resources: oil, gas, minerals, land, technology. And as you said before, we have a strategic location, hours from the United States. So we're going to do this right. We know what we have to do. And American companies are in, super strategic position to invest. This country, Venezuela, is going to be the brightest opportunity for investment of American companies, of good people that are going to make a lot of money. Forget about Saudi Arabia.
So I don't know how you say it's anything else. She says it herself explicitly, and that's some kind of interview with Donald Trump Jr. We're going to make a lot of money. If you don't have to read between the lines. If we put in a government that is sympathetic to the United States, we'll make a lot of money. Just like we overthrew the government in Ukraine, we make a lot of money. That's what we do. So it's not even controversial. So anyway, that's what we're doing. I take it or leave it. He may be a bad person, Maduro. It may be a bad form of government. For some reason, people in our hemisphere seem to like communism for some reason and vote for it sometimes. So there you go. We've offered Maduro the chance to leave the country. That's what Trump has done privately, apparently. So, all right, let me play you well, I'm going to get to the boats, which we've talked about a lot, but this is our press secretary talking about what we're going to do with the oil. So here we go. And gas prices are down, by the way. I don't dispute that.
He talks a lot about how he thinks the way to bring down prices for everything would be to bring down the cost of energy. Would he use this seized Venezuelan oil to try to help Americans with affordability here in the United States?
Well, what I can tell you right now, the vessel has been seized, as you know. And the Department of Justice did that in conjunction with the Coast Guard and the Department of War. The vessel is currently undergoing a forfeiture process right now. The United States currently has a full investigative team on the ground on the vessel, and individuals on board the vessel are being interviewed, and any relevant evidence is being seized. With respect to the oil, that's a different issue. As you know, Peter, the vessel will go to a U.S. port, and the United States does intend to seize the oil. However, there is a legal process for the seizure of that oil, and that legal process will be followed.
And just my last one on this.
There you go. So we will seize the oil. Apparently, we're talking about seizing more. We'll keep doing it until Maduro leaves, is the plan, I believe. It may be enough to squeeze. It may be enough to squeeze him because they don't have that much money, apparently, cash, to support the government. They need money to survive, just like our government does. The only difference is we can just print our own money. But if we continue to steal their oil, they can't sell it, they can't profit from it, and they can't fund their government. So anyway, that's the press secretary talking about it. Here's Trump talking about the boats. So the Senate or the House, they passed a military funding bill, And they said, as part of a stipulation, that they won't fund the military 100%. Something like they'll only fund it up to 75% unless Pete Hegseth releases the video. Donald Trump went from saying explicitly that he didn't mind releasing the video of the double tap strike on the first boat. He said that, and then he denied saying it and just yelled at the reporter. So here he is again being asked about the boat, and he pulls a Jeffrey Epstein on it. It's like, oh, people are still talking about the boat strike. It was only a week ago, but here he does it. I don't have to preview it. Here he is.
Mr. President, has Secretary Hegseth told you why he hasn't released the video of the second strike?
No, he hasn't. I thought that issue was dead. You're surprised you bring it. You must
Lawmakers are
be. You
still
must be CNN.
Lawmakers are still
Are you
talking about it
CNN?
on the Hill.
Are you CNN?
I am CNN.
Don't you have a shop to find out?
But lawmakers are still talking about it on the Hill.
Well, I'll tell you. I don't know about lawmakers. Which lawmakers you talking about?
Most of the Democrats have been
Talking
talking
about
about trying to release
I
it.
mean, the people that you work for, the Democrats. You know, you work for the Democrats, don't you? You're basically an arm of the Democrat Party. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it.
There you go.
Thank
So he's like, we're still talking. Why are you talking about? Why are you bringing up old shit? I thought we were done talking about the illegal double tap strike where we killed two helpless people in the middle of the ocean, clinging to a boat that was on fire. Why are you bringing up old shit? Nobody cares about that anymore. Nobody cares about Jeffrey Epstein anymore. So anyway, that's the boat strike thing. He wants that to go away. He's frustrated. His polls are way down. Speaking of CNN, since he yells at the CNN reporter, it seems I should bring up the Netflix deal. So the Netflix deal to buy Warner Brothers, which I guess under the umbrella of Warner Brothers is CNN. Netflix made the winning bid, has already put out press releases saying they're going to own Warner Brothers, which owns HBO, HBO Max, and a bunch of other, and like all these movies and all these distribution sources and a Hollywood studio and all that stuff. They put in a bid, they won it. And then after the fact, Larry Ellison's company, Paramount, I guess it is now, put in a hostile bid for more. The difference between the bids, as far as I understand it right now, is that Netflix wasn't going to get CNN, and CNN was going to spin off and become a publicly traded company. Donald Trump has said explicitly that he thinks somebody should buy CNN because their ratings suck, but it's because they don't like him or he doesn't like the news they put out. Right now, they happen to be interviewing a lot of people who are Trump supporters who say the economy sucks and they wish Trump was doing a better job. So I understand why he doesn't like CNN. But I believe the difference between the two bids is that Ellison and, their super Zionists are also bidding to buy CNN. And if the regulatory process is under the control of Donald Trump, which it is, he'll probably lean toward the Zionist buyer because because they bought CBS already and installed the chubby Israeli spy in charge of CBS News. So I'm sure he wants the same thing to happen to CNN. So rather than letting it spin off and become a publicly traded company. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's the difference between the two bids between Netflix and Larry Ellison's group. Okay, so that's the news on Venezuela. I'm going to cover Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens. If you're here for that, I know that's the title. We're coming up to it. We're covering some real government news first. There's news about gold cards. Donald Trump says he doesn't like illegal immigration, but he loves legal immigration and doesn't want to stop importing people that take American jobs, especially if they give us $1 million. So the gold card he's been promoting. And Donald Trump also said at one time, we should staple green cards to every diploma for all the foreign students we bring in here to apparently keep our universities afloat, because they'd all go out of business without foreigners. So we bring in foreigners to take the place of American students at our most elite colleges so they can charge even higher tuition. Donald Trump wants them all to stay, even though they might be spies, even though they might take information from our country and bring it back to their country and make their country more competitive. We like that. And now we want to charge people $1 million for a gold card to stay here. So here's Trump talking about it.
For an individual, it's $1 million. And for a corporation, it's $2 million. And as the president said, for a corporation, they spend $2 million. They can then have an employee, full vetting, the best vetting the government has ever done, $15,000 vetting to make sure these people absolutely qualify to be in America, absolutely qualify. And then the company can keep them here and they have a path to citizenship, right? Obviously, they have to be perfect people in America, and having passed the vetting after 5 years, they'll be available to become citizens, and then the corporation can put someone else on the card. So for a company, they can keep putting people on the card, one person per card, and for an individual, it's $1 million, and it's a gift to the United States of America to help America be great again under Donald Trump.
And it's really two gifts. It's a gift of getting somebody great coming into our country, because we think these will be some tremendous people that wouldn't be allowed to stay. You know, they graduate from college, they have to go back to India, they have to go back to China, they have to go back to France, they have to go back to wherever they came from. Very hard to stay. It's a shame. It's ridiculous things. We're taking care of that. The companies are going to be very happy. I know Apple's going to be happy. But a lot of the companies, nobody talked to me more about it than Tim Cook. He said it's a real problem, and it's not going to be a problem anymore. As you know, they used to send people up to Canada and other places, other countries. So we've solved that.
There you go. Somebody asked where the $1 million is going to go. He says to America. I'm sure it'll help pay down our $38 trillion debt. I'm sure. Who knows? It's all a grift. If people pay $1 million, then maybe they'll be good, supposedly. So it's a bribery system now to get into the United States of America. Speaking of that actually, we're announcing a program right now where every tourist, even from Europe, even from white countries, which Donald Trump likes, has to submit 5 years of social media history, which I'm guessing is to check if they've ever said anything anti-Semitic, I'm guessing. And we have the World Cup coming next year when a lot of foreigners are going to visit. So every single tourist, apparently for an ESTA visa, where they normally would just get granted one, they apparently now have to submit 5 years of social media history in order to get into this country, which I'm sure people really appreciate. So, especially with the World Cup coming up. But I'm guessing it's just to filter out anybody who said anything negative about Israel ever, because that seems to be what we're most focused on as far as getting rid of people with green cards or American citizens right now. So that's Harold Lutnick, who they call Nutlick. I have another clip from him, but I'm not going to play it. All right. Now we'll get to the Candace Owens news. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining me. Appreciate you guys. If you want to support the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Leave a note. I'll read it before the end of the show. Okay. So many people are attacking Candace Owens right now. Tim Pool, Jeremy from the Quartering, Benny Johnson made a challenging video, is unwilling to attack Candace Owens, but made a video challenging the conspiracy theory by presenting the evidence that the government has presented so far about Tyler Robinson. Who else should I talk about? Oh, that jerk off Ian Miles Chong has been unleashed to attack Candace Owens on Twitter. Who are the other players? And several others, anonymous or influencers or otherwise, Glenn Beck in specific, especially calling her mentally ill. Out of right field comes Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes, who has constantly changing alliances. People hate him, but then they like him for certain things he says. So many people are looking forward and maybe somewhat counting on Nick Fuentes to expose Candace Owens, because Nick Fuentes brings the heat when he does it, because when he did it to Tucker Carlson, it was one of his biggest shows ever, and he showed a lot of evidence and he came with facts and cast a lot of shadow on Tucker Carlson. In the end, it actually got him invited on Tucker Carlson's show. They were friends for about 2 seconds until Nick Fuentes turned again on Tucker Carlson, because Tucker Carlson insists on calling him anti-Semitic. He didn't do himself much. He didn't get out of that too much from going on the Piers Morgan show, where he said, basically, he just said, I am a racist, and actually said some like super offensive things about about a Holocaust survivor. So I'll show you that too. But here's his rant. He claims that Candace Owens needs to be stopped. And he is going to be the one to do it, assuming TPUSA doesn't do a good enough job, which I don't think they will. So, yes, everybody from Ben Shapiro's organization has come out. Matt Walsh and the other guy, the other white guy, has come out against Candace Owens. We know Ben Shapiro is out against Candace Owens. So the ranks of influencers who are calling out Candace Owens has grown. Many of those people hate Nicholas J. Fuentes, but Nicholas J. Fuentes happens to be on their side against Candace Owens, and he is losing friends on his side, supposedly Ian Carroll and other anti-Jew conspiracy theorists who still think that Israel killed Charlie Kirk, even though Candace Owens doesn't even bring that up. Candace Owens, according to Candace Owens, everybody killed Charlie Kirk. But he's in a fight right now with Ian Carroll, who got his following by being anti-Jewish, because Ian Carroll thinks that Fuentes should be supporting Candace Owens. So Birkin Umbrella Corp says the Groyper Wars. So here we go. This is Nick.
To put it simply, if Candace were not doing this, this would not be happening. If she were not going live cynically every day exploiting this, it wouldn't be happening. No one else would be doing it. And there would be no hysteria and paranoia over this. People might have some lingering doubts and questions about the assassination. People would be eager to see the case against Tyler Robinson and what the evidence is. People would still be talking about it, but no one would be connecting it to Brigitte Macron. Nobody be taking it there. Nobody be talking about Egyptian planes and maroon shirts. Nobody be motherfucking Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA. This is just her. Like, she's doing that unnecessarily because it feeds her ego and it makes her richer. And it's hurting the country. It's hurting the conversation. It's setting back the credibility of anybody that has ever doubted the FBI, actually, on anything, because it's so reckless. And it has to stop. Somebody's going to have to put an end to it. And like I said, I'm going to watch the stream on Monday. And listen, a lot of people don't have the resources or the brain power to do this. If Turning Point is not successful, I'm going to put it together and I am going to blow a gaping fucking hole in her credibility that she will not recover from. I will tell her entire story that nobody knows, her spook ass, weird husband. I'll tell the story about her donor, who is a Scientologist. I'll tell the story about Rebecca Mercer. I'll tell the story about how she was suing people for racism and doxing conservatives. We'll tell the whole story. We will blow a giant hole in her credibility that she will never be able to put back together, because this has to stop. It's ridiculous. A whole country is being held hostage by this ridiculous black narcissist, this idiot. And that's what she is. It's a shame. You know, I really admire Tim Pool. He's really, there's no love lost between me and Tim Pool, but I admire how Tim Pool stood up to her. That being said, he goes, oh, she's a genius. He had her flying henchman, the gay pedophile, on the week before. And Tim Pool says, she's a genius. She's not a genius. She's a fucking idiot. And everybody needs to be clear about that. Let's just drop the pretense. She is not genius. She's not even smart. She is a fucking idiot. The only thing that she knows how to do instinctually is manipulate. That's it. Today she said Erica Kirk needs to compartmentalize her business and her personal life. But she didn't say compartmentalize. She said compartmentalize. 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 Erica Kirk is going to bury the story because she can't compartmentalize. Shit, she can't compartmentalize. She can't compartmentalization is. She can't compartmentalize and all that. She can't compartmentalize that. She's a fucking idiot. I've never seen a stupider person have a bigger platform. Honest to God. I mean, say what you want about Tucker. He's no dummy. He may be dishonest, but he's no dummy. And say what you want about a lot of these people. They're smarter than you give them credit for. This person's a fucking retard. And a malicious, she's just a sick person. So it has to stop. Anyway, I'll stop my rant about it, but she's driving it to this point, and I'm going to have to be the Dark Knight here. It's sort of funny. All these conservatives that were trashing me and hating on me, now they're counting on me. Now they're counting on me to take her down. Erica couldn't do it. Blake Neff couldn't do it. I can. And they know that. So a lot of them are cheering me on. They're saying, I hate Nick. I don't agree with Nick, but he's right on this. Because I'm a true believer. I'm a true believer, and I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so there's Nick Fuentes. I see the people in the chat. I see you people. People say he's a Fed. I don't think he's a Fed. I don't think he's a Fed. He's always done. I see the way he makes money. I see the super chats. I see he's got merch, which he sells for a lot of money. He's got a subscription-based website. He runs no ads, has no, well, he might have donors. I don't think they're foreign mostly. People are accusing of that. People say it's all foreign bot influence network. I don't believe that. Whenever he does an interview, it's the biggest interview ever for whoever has him on, for the most part. Tucker, Piers, people have him on because he gets real, actual views. He is a very complicated person. He's not really a Republican at all. He may be kind of a socialist, maybe a national socialist, maybe actually kind of a Nazi in a way, but he thinks Nazis are cool, or he says Hitler is cool. And he said that on Piers Morgan. So anyway, he claims that it's destroying America and that people wouldn't be doing it without Candace Owens. I don't know for sure. It was already a conspiracy theory. She has dragged it out and added a lot of detail. She's tied in France, Egyptian planes. So Tucker apparently confirmed the Egyptian planes, but like I said, there are people who say they've debunked the Egyptian planes. And I don't know who to believe. The Egyptian planes, I don't understand it. I don't know what the theory is. Apparently, Erica Kirk is going to say something about the Egyptian planes on our Barry Weiss interview. So I don't know if she's 100% responsible for what's going on, or if it's tearing apart the country or not. I'm not sure. Is it tearing apart the conservative movement? Not sure. TPUSA, already we're fucked without Charlie Kirk in charge, probably, regardless of what Candace did. There are plenty of people who want to go after TPUSA. So, but Candace is responsible for a lot, probably. So he said he's going to stop her. He's not going to stop her, but he'll present a lot of things probably that will make people super, like, he's good. He's very good at what he does. And if I were Candace Owens, I wouldn't be looking forward to his expose, considering what he did to Tucker, at least for a brief period of time until Tucker decided to have him on his show. So, and she has a weird history. When she was younger, she just accused a bunch of people of racism, kind of like where it may not have even been true. She's sought attention and been kind of a drama queen her whole life. And I'm sure Nick will bring that up. How she got started and starting in like high school is accusing people of racially attacking her. And then she was a liberal who wanted to dox conservatives. And then she became red-pilled black, even giving herself the name as a token black female conservative. That's how she got started. She's very talented, got hired by PragerU and then Ben Shapiro, then split up with Ben Shapiro over the Israel thing. Nick has some animosity because she had him on her show and was kind of a bitch to him, which, you know, when they could have been talking about Iran together, that's what they both agreed on. So see, people are divided. That's good. We like to welcome both sides to the chat. I welcome you. Insert name here. Says, I love Dord. Nathan actually was when I discovered Jimmy from. Now it's like he doesn't watch him. I watch him. I followed the conspiracy theory from the beginning. I've never been convinced. All of the different things. Yeah, some are super weird. The guy walking away on his phone, whatever his name is, walking away from the assassination right after it happened. I think that's weird. The Pierre DuPont thing, I don't know what that is. Could be totally made up. Candace Owens, as far as I'm concerned, isn't a researcher. Not the way Nick Fuentes is. She just gets tips from people she vets, which makes it impossible to debunk what she says, because she gets tips from people who tell her things that may or may not be true. I saw the lies she said that TPUSA told. One of which, though, I agree, is they were trying to push a narrative that Charlie Kirk was never anti-Israel. And she showed text messages that showed that he was starting to go that way. And that was very valuable. So I followed that. I followed the bullet theories. Chris Martinson, who said that it couldn't have been fired from the roof, who says it must have been a different shooter from a different location based on his research. I followed that. Don't know what to think of it. The FBI, or the people are skeptical of the FBI. The investigation is being handled by Utah locally and assisted by the FBI. They've released text messages, which, if they're real, amount to a confession. Everyone says they're fake. Everyone says it's Fed slop, but nobody's proven it at all. Maybe they can't, but no one's proven that the evidence that the feds and the local police have put forward is fake. They just say it's fake, which you can just say, if you can just say it's Fed slop, that's what the word they use, Fed slop. Okay, but it actually makes sense. It follows linearly. I mean, they say his parents saw a picture of him and thought it was him. They say his parents called him and said, it looks like your grandpa's gun. Show me your gun. Tyler said, apparently, I'm going to kill myself. He wouldn't answer the questions. That's what the government says. It all makes sense. He has a trans furry boyfriend. At dinner, he talked about how Charlie Kirk is a hateful person. He was becoming left wing. He's some kind of genius. He's some kind of genius, apparently. But that might make sense, too, with the text messages being, according to most people, too old-fashioned or what have you, too unbelievable. But DNA on the gun, we assume, I don't know, they either do or don't have the bullet that was inside of Charlie to match with the ballistics and stuff from the gun. I don't know about that. DNA from the gun, DNA from the towel, pictures of him there, etc. So it may be Fed slop, but if it's real, then it was definitely Tyler Robinson. He confessed to it. If the text messages are real, then he's going to get convicted. DNA 1 in a trillion if it's real. So you just have to say they completely made up the text messages, completely made up DNA evidence, which Tyler Robinson's lawyers would be able to double check if things are real at all. And they made up the gun that did the shooting. They may or may not have video of him actually firing the gun. So, insert name here says they got you. No, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what the feds say, that people say is Fed slop. But no one has debunked it. People just say it's fake. They're just like, oh, I don't believe it. I don't trust the FBI. Okay. But they're going to present it at trial. And then we just have to say nothing's real, which is a difficult position to take. I mean, it's a common position to take, but it's a difficult position to take. You just have to assume that everything's fake and it's totally set up. 9/11, you have a lot of evidence. JFK, there's a lot of evidence. He was shot from the front. We have it on video. This thing, we have it on video. There was a sound of a gunshot. There was a hole in Charlie's neck. He died instantly. It may or may not have been from a different angle. There was one shot from what could have been the roof. And then there's a lot of weird circumstantial stuff. They destroyed the Dairy Queen. They re-landscaped the area. I hear you. Most people mostly go back to the 30-06, which they say should have created a much bigger wound. Don't know. I don't know. He was definitely killed by a sniper, seems like. But who knows? So that's where it's at. You can say I'm a Fed or something. It's not that I believe the Feds. It's just that most other conspiracy theories I'm into, there's more suspicious evidence. Like some of the things that are suspicious that I agree with are TPUSA's financing, which is weird. But is that motive enough to kill the guy that was running their company? Because let's think about TPUSA's motive. Because like it or so people, okay, this is the thing. People say Candace Owens is just asking questions, but she's not. She's accusing TPUSA of a cover-up. She's accusing TPUSA and Erica Kirk of a cover-up. She's not just asking questions. She's making accusations. She's accusing some guy who apparently is going by the name Jonathan Schmidt of being an Israeli assassin that lives in her town, and she's telling people to go after him. She's accusing the military of being involved. She's accusing the government of being involved. She's not just asking questions. So it's more than that. She's accusing TPUSA of covering up the crime. And if TPUSA is upset about that, well, they would know if they weren't covering up the crime. And you have to think about, like, what was their motive of killing the guy whose death is probably the death of their company, the guy that made them all rich and was leading them to the promised land. What would be the motive of being involved in the death of their own guy? You can tell me, though. I'm looking at my audience. Thank you, insert name here, who says, Nathan, read your audience. I got it. I understand. I'm just not going to change my opinion based on my audience, but I understand. I've been here before. I've been on the unpopular side of things. When COVID happened, I thought COVID was worse than it was. I lost a lot of viewers. I understand. When Trump was very popular, I didn't like Trump a lot. I lost viewers. I understand. Kira says, Nathan, there's so much you haven't looked into enough. It's not about Candace. Okay, so you tell me. I've followed as much as I can. I'm just trying to give you guys my honest opinion. I'm not alone. There are plenty of people who have a similar opinion to me. I'm trying not to attack Candace Owens or say that she's a lying C word or something like that. We are looking at the chat just to tell you guys. Knockfugget says, I hope you're getting some of that Israel money for this. I wish I were. I don't get it. I would get more. Let me be honest with you. I know which way the wind is blowing. I'm not retarded. I see you in the chat. I see how much money Candace Owens is making. I know Jimmy Dore is writing it too. I know I would get more donations if I went full conspiratard on it. I know because I've been there. I'm not stupid. I know the conspiracy theory is more advantageous for me to talk about. I know that. I just can't do it. That's all. Because I've followed it, all of it. And I haven't seen anything more convincing than the official story. Yet, I haven't seen anything more convincing. No one has a theory. You tell me if I'm wrong. Especially Candace Owens. No one has a theory that sticks. Candace Owens changes her story every single show. It's the French, it's the Israelis, it's the Egyptian planes, it's the military, it's the government, it's TPUSA. One day it's something different. Every day it's something different. I follow it. Where's the theory? What's the theory? Like, I don't know. And I'm trying to follow it. So I understand. I'm not paid by Israel. I'm not that because I'm always talking about how much I don't like that country. And to a large extent, I don't like the people that are sympathetic to that country that control our government. Charlie Kirk wrote a book about how to be a good Christian Jew. Even Ian Carroll, the day before he died, was accusing Charlie Kirk of being controlled by Jews. He ran an organization that, even up until his death, was designed to keep kids in line about Israel. He was the Jews' biggest asset up until the day he died, still, even though he was changing his mind. He was their best chance living for the Jews. Charlie Kirk was their best chance to keep the youth from going full Nick Fuentes, I think. And you can tell me I'm wrong. But why would they kill their best asset, their only asset, and turn it over to people that hate Israel, like Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens, which is what happened, and Tucker Carlson? What's their motive? You know what I mean? He just put out a book about the Jewish Sabbath. He was a little bit turning against Israel. It's true. But was that enough reason for them to kill him? I hear you, Pirate. You think they did it? Who do you guys think did it? You guys tell me. I'll put your comments on stage. We'll have a conversation. I don't want to lose my audience for the 10 billionth time because I'm hard-headed and obstinate about an issue. Yeah, I can do a poll. What do you want me to ask? Mariah, I like that one, that Charlie Kirk is still alive. I always like those theories. I believe Jeffrey Epstein is still alive. I think they killed a look-alike. And maybe even did an autopsy on a look-alike. Mir, you say you're Hebrew. Are you a bad person then? No. Jews are, I'm not anti-Semitic. I think anti-Semitism, low IQ anti-Semitism is a problem. There are many, many good Jewish people who are on the other side of the issue. There are many Jews that aren't Zionists. There are many people that also believe the state of Israel doesn't have a right given to them by God to exterminate their enemies and stuff. So why would I hate Jews? Like Glenn Greenwald, why would I hate Glenn Greenwald? Or Finkelstein? I mean, Finkelstein wrote, it was like his family died in the Holocaust, and he wrote a book about the Holocaust industrial complex. Jews are smart, funny. So I definitely don't hate Jews, but the religion itself is problematic, I believe. Like I actually am just like Adam Green. The religion itself is a supremacist religion, and I'm against supremacy of any kind. So unlike Nick Fuentes, I'm not a white supremacist. I like white people. I appreciate them a lot. And maybe it's better if we're in charge, but I'm not a white supremacist. So, but yes, what you just said is I hate to be called an anti-Semite just for being critical of Israel or being critical of their religion, which is in a lot of ways a supremacist religion. Like they're racist. Not all Jews, but many Israeli Jews are super racist, and they want us to hate Muslims, especially. And you can say things about almost anybody that you can't say about Jews. They like white people that don't like black people. They like white people not to like Muslims. If I say anything about them, you're done. They like us to talk about third worlders and shithole countries and shit like that. Not all Jews, but a lot of them in Israel, they want to exterminate Palestinians. So you can't exactly divide it from being Jewish. So didn't know I was going to go off on that, but BMR Busker, if you want to call in, I can take a call from you. Football game starting. Tonight is the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield against, who's playing tonight? I don't have to cover the rest of the news. We've already had a nice conversation. I was going to start at 3 so I could watch the football game. Now the football game started. And I haven't gotten through much of the news at all. I'd show you, let me show you this. Seems on topic. Yeah, I can take calls. I'll open it up right now so we can get it over with. I do want to watch football. Baker Mayfield is a bread influencer. I like those commercials. I think they're funny. All right, let's see. Voice.google.com. Sign in. Yeah, you just want to talk about Jews every day? I hope they monetize my channel. I can at least get super chats. I hope they don't call me hateful. YouTube, that is. Everybody else gets super chats. So, yes, I'll take calls from people. Then people can, because I'm open to debate. Some people aren't. Candace Owens doesn't take calls. Be good if she did. Almost nobody takes calls. They just monologue. They sit behind their safe computer. Oh, I'm wearing my Nassim shirt today. It's pretty cool. Not for sale anymore. All our shirts are limited edition. We celebrate, we celebrate great content creators. If they happen to shoot up YouTube, allegedly, we don't celebrate that, but the phone is technically open. If you know the phone number, let me just play one video for you. This is our best t-shirt ever. Made in America. Should have been $50, but we're sold out. You can't have one. Unless you want to buy one from me. I had like 3 at one point.
What are you going to do about it, Nick Fuentes? What you going to do about it when I tell you, you little bastard, you're going to be begging the Jews to give you, I don't know what.
Medicine for his Kalman syndrome.
You're going to be begging the Jews to help you down on your knees and repent like Kanye West, motherfucker. Keep it up. It's a fucking, what do they call it?
Reckoning.
It's a sting. It's a God sting. Are you going to go against the God of Abraham? You're going to shit talk the God of the Torah? Keep it up, motherfucker.
Not just
You'll
the
see
Torah,
what happens.
the Bible, Jesus.
We'll see what happens when you try to overthrow the Constitution of the United States, the Republic of the United States of America. You talk shit about that, saying it ain't good, that we got to have some Catholic theology to replace it. You can kiss my motherfucking rich Jew American ass motherfucker. Yeah. Come and debate me. Let's debate.
Love it. I love that attitude. Sarcasm. Jim, I see that your call came through, so you can try again. I see a missed call from you. You say it's not working. I didn't get the ring, so I can put up there. See, it's working. Someone should talk about silver more. I brought up silver a long time ago. I was telling people to buy silver in 2015. What's up, Jim from Baltimore?
Hey Nathan, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Man, that is so crazy to see Roseanne talking about Fuentes.
I know.
That is just weird, man. Like back in the day, you interviewed him on your show.
Yeah, that's right. I was good at spotting. There are several YouTubers back in the day. I would almost scout talent to a certain extent. I thought he was pretty famous when I had him on. I thought it would be a huge show. And actually, and I had him on YouTube, and it wasn't that big. And I was like, "Oh, that's disappointing." I
Really, I thought it was probably like I didn't know that. I thought it was probably one of the biggest shows you ever had. But
no, it was
did
crazy.
You get a lot of views on it afterwards, or
no? I never got a lot of views on that video. Well, for one thing, he kind of was. It was kind of fucked up that he didn't show up on video. I was all planning for him to be on video, and he was like, "Oh, can we just do voice?" I was like, "Okay." So that was annoying that he wasn't there on video.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Now that I think about it, I thought he was on video, but now that I think about it, yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah, it was he made an excuse like his office was dirty or something. I was like, "Oh, that's a real bummer." I was totally ready for him to be on video. I was on back then. It was 2019, end of November 2019, so 6 years ago, and he was still on YouTube, I believe. Very controversial. I think it was around he might have still been on YouTube. I think he was. He was getting a lot of views, maybe had 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, but he was getting way more views than his subscriber count. And I could tell he was a big deal. And so I wanted to have him on. And I was questioning his views about, I was kind of like a boomer. I kind of interviewed him like peers a little bit, because I challenged him on his anti-women views and his anti-gay views.
I remember that.
Like and then and then I had Groypers tuned in on DLive, and and I opened up the phones afterwards, and they all called me to call me a faggot and stuff.
Oh man, dude, it's the Groypers.
I know, it's crazy.
Where did that name come from? I mean,
there's a history to it. There was some post on Twitter. I don't know. It refers to a cozy Pepe. It's like a cozy Pepe meme, but other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember for sure when I first encountered Fuentes on, maybe it was, well, I'm sure it was YouTube, but he was definitely talking shit about the Jewish persuasion type thing.
Yeah. What I think the best part of the interview was I definitely questioned whether he was being sincere. I questioned whether he was being sincere or if he was just doing it for clicks, especially his support for Donald Trump, because I knew he didn't like Jews, and Donald Trump does a lot, and he's basically kind of Jewish.
Yeah, you called him out, dude. If you're a Trump fan.
That's what I asked him mostly. I was like, why do you support Trump if you really hate Jews or whatever? And he gave me a humana answer. He was like, "Oh, well, he's, but it didn't make sense." And now he's come around to what my point of view was, which is that Donald Trump's a sellout for Israel. So
now, how old was he when you interviewed? Was he like a teenager?
6 years ago, he would have been 21, I guess. I hear he's 27 now.
Okay, yeah, he's a kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
27, though, he's old enough now
not
to do the things he did
I
on
wouldn't want to
Piers
be called
Morgan.
A kid.
But,
yeah, at 27, I wouldn't want to be called a kid, but he definitely acted like, I thought he was basically a teenager when I first encountered him online.
Yeah, well, he was already making waves when he was 19.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for taking my call, man. It's been pretty messed up in my life. I lost my mom in August and my dad a few days ago.
Oh, really? A few days ago? I'm sorry, man. Blessings to you.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just that's what I'm going through. I'm just talking, you know.
Yeah, sorry, dude. Yeah, I lost my
But,
mom a long time ago. My dad isn't doing that great, so I feel you.
yeah, I understand. Like, 'cause I remember, I think you were doing streams, I guess, when you lost your mama, right before you started doing streams.
Right after my mom died is when I started streaming in
That's
2015.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Man, time flies.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll let you go, man.
Okay,
Thanks
sounds
for taking
good.
my call.
Yep, you're the man.
All right.
All right.
See you.
Jim from Baltimore. The phone is open. I can drop a link too if people want to join from overseas. Normally we don't get that many calls. Oh, wow. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey Nathan, it's the Branch.
Hey,
What's up,
Branch.
man?
What's up, man? Thanks for the coffees and stuff. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Anyway, I thought that quote was pretty cool. You can't get coffee without the grind. I noticed you've been
Yeah.
I noticed you've been doing streams every day.
Yeah.
And really appreciate that. It gives me something to look forward to.
Oh,
When
good.
I come home and do.
Yeah, I'm
You know, I like it a
grinding
lot.
6 days a week sometimes. And over the I'm not taking a holiday break like everybody else. I have to do some dog sitting over Christmas. So I'll see. I'm not going to stream Christmas Day, I don't think, but we'll see if I stream from my other location while I'm doing that. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I've been getting the notifications about a half an hour before the stream too, so I think
Good.
that's working a lot.
Yeah, I make sure to set up the stream at least you have to set it up at least a half hour in advance for those notifications to go out. So I try to make sure to do that.
I actually had some points to raise, but I know you mentioned something about the football game, so
It's all right.
would you mind if I...
Yeah, go ahead.
So about the whole, Charlie Kirk thing, so I just think that with the fact that it was, kind of how they handled the crime scene alone, so suspect that it ought to really raise questions.
Yeah,
about
the
entire
fact
process.
that they basically paved over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you see something like that happen?
Every mass shooting, pretty much. They demolished,
Yeah.
every church shooting, they demolished the church. Sandy Hook, they demolished the school. It happens pretty much all the time. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, and if you do a little bit of digging there with the crew that came in and done that, there were some allegedly some of the staff said like, "Oh, my men are good at keeping secrets. Don't worry, we'll get this done and over with real quick." Like they didn't even follow the normal process. Like you're usually supposed to bid stuff like that out. I mean, anybody that's been a part of a legit organization knows that nothing happens fast, and that would have to go through like board approval or something,
Yeah.
So it's very suspect that there were then no plans prior, because if there were plans to do that, they probably wouldn't have had the event at all, So I don't know. It's just, and the part that really bothers me, there's two things about the surrounding environment. First of all, if it were around at all and it left his body, it would be likely in the ground somewhere surrounding him, right?
If it went through him, which it didn't though. They say they recovered the bullet, so from his body.
It just seems again suspect that they replaced all the sod and everything. Like they got completely new sod. They didn't reuse any of it. So I mean, you know what I mean? Like they went through a lot of effort to just basically Minecraft demolish and rehab the area. And I thought that was really strange to me. And the other reason I think they could have done that is because if there was any blood, it could have been fake blood. I mean, after all, if he's not even dead, it could have been a squib or something. Because you were an actor, right? So did you ever get to use, stuff like that where some blood squirts out of somebody or whatever?
I definitely remember doing something where I think either somebody punched me in the mouth or something, and I had to bite down on a blood capsule. I seem to remember doing that.
Okay.
Never
well,
had
that's in the
squibs though.
spirit.
I had to get kicked in the nuts once for real. Like they made me wear a cup and they kept telling the girl to kick me harder. But that was in the John Waters movie I was in. But otherwise, otherwise, no, I've never been fake shot. But it's possible. Yeah, Hollywood special effects are possible. But in this case,
I mean,
I
after
don't know.
all, yeah.
It looked kind of realistic, but
Well, yeah, of course. But I don't know. I just think that, until we know definitively what happened, I think all angles kind of should be taken into account, because after all, if it were fake blood on the ground, that would be as damning to the narrative as real blood on the ground would be in terms of evidence, like it's almost like anti-evidence that this kid didn't do it. You know what I mean? So like even real blood on the ground, it's like, well, what the fuck is actually going on here?
mm-hmm.
So I think that's one good reason. And then of course the bullet thing. But see, there was a guy that collaborated with Candace, maybe shooting rifles, and of course a gelatin, replica of a person's not the same thing, of course.
Right.
But in the reenactments, at all these varying distances, like the 30-06 just done such devastating damage. Like, yes, he did slump over and stuff. But it's like, well, it should have been a lot more devastating, perhaps.
Yes, that's what people
Especially-
say. I just don't know enough, and I can see all the people trying to prove it and stuff, but I do think I know that sometimes bullets do weird things. I'm not talking about like
Right.
JFK magic bullet stuff, but like they do turn sometimes when they hit something, right? So like, and they do fragment sometimes.
Yeah.
So, and I saw somebody say like maybe the grain of the bullet wasn't the grain people thought it was. It could have been a weaker shot than people think, even with that bullet. But I don't know. I'm not an expert on it, so it's.
Well, see, that's implied you're loading your own rounds then, which is entirely possible because the kid did go to the range. So I mean, he could possibly have access to that type of equipment and know how to do it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Thing that's strange about that though is the fact that this alleged family heirloom was kind of found lying in the hedges or something on the perimeter of the
You mean the
college.
gun?
And he was never actually seen with it.
Right.
That's
He supposedly left it somewhere and reassembled it and stuff. Yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah, and see, that's the whole thing too about this whole disassemble, reassemble.
Yeah,
that's
very
never
strange.
actually proven. They're just insinuating that he would have had to have done so.
Well, let me ask you, do you think the trial will give you any more clarity? Like apparently they're going to allow cameras in the trial. Do you think that'll help? Like when his defense use some of that stuff if it was?
Well, you would
what
think,
do you think?
Yeah. Frankly, I don't think he'll make it. I think they'll, Jack Ruby him or whatever. I mean, the poor kid's probably got his days numbered. So, I mean.
But if they don't kill him and the trial goes forward, do you think that'll help answer our questions? Or do you think
Well, I
it's all a
mean,
show?
perhaps, but, it'll depend on who the judge is and so many other factors. I mean, the corruption with this government's so rife, I mean, and so let's take a moment to step back. What if it is the, controversial state in question? The fact that Cash is dating a chick from there.
Right. Right.
I think we cast shadow over the whole thing too, it's like, wow, it could be possible that it's that bad,
Right.
But I just wanted to bring up those points because I have been following it on Twitter and it's just so strange and inconsistent. Like I would like to see the circus that is that trial just to see what kind of nonsense they're going to try and conceive of,
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I think it's really just a patsy thing,
Okay. Well, maybe it is.
Everybody's going to want to gang up on this trans kid. It's an easy target, no pun intended. So I think, in a way they kind of thought it would be easy. And here it's actually become kind of difficult. I think they underestimate the internet. You know what I mean?
They're definitely having to contend with the internet. They wish they could control the internet. I know that.
Right.
But
yeah. Well, anyway, I didn't want to go ever long. I just wanted to kind of bring up some of those weird things that I thought were inconsistent,
Thanks to you.
Anyway, farewell. So much for doing the show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. See ya. All right. I think it was Robs in LA 22 who asked what I said, I'm so bad with names these days. I don't know if it's my age or what. John Waters movie I was in was Cecil B. Demented with Adrian Grenier, Melanie Thank. Some other people who were somewhat famous. Cecil B. Demented I was in, filmed in Baltimore, just like other John Waters movies, because I'm from that area, Washington, D.C. I worked on some TV shows and movies in the Washington, D.C. area before I moved to L.A. and rapidly quit being an actor. Not the Ketchup King. But yeah, you can check me out. I was a ticket taker. That was my name. I had 2 lines and a fight, and they beat me up. I got punched in the face by Adrian Grenier, and then who is from Entourage, the star of Entourage. And then I got kicked in the balls by this other chick. And I think it was Melanie Griffith who's in the movie. So I had to do some stunts. I could show you. You want to see it? I'll show you if you want to see it. It's on YouTube. Feel the punch of outlaw cinema. Something like that. Hold on. I'll find it for you. Somebody posted my whole acting reel. It's right here. Damn. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Jim. I doxed you. I can maybe edit it out. Let's see what I showed. Problematic. I'll have to take the video down and edit out that portion. I can do that. I'm capable of it. So probably nobody was watching in real time, but we will fix that problem.
This George Young?
That's him.
Thanks. See you.
Homicide life on the street.
What's the matter? Why don't you just stop and talk to me for a second? What, you think you
Hey, hey, Young.
Stop it.
Hey, Young.
Get out of here, Munch.
Leave her alone.
This ain't none of your business. We're just talking.
I said leave Helen alone.
What are you gonna do, Johnny Munch? You gonna do something?
George,
to me?
leave him alone.
Huh?
George, stop it. Johnny.
You wanna take a punch? Go ahead. Get up.
George. Johnny, are you all right?
Get a load of the hero, Helen. Now that you got rid of the big football star, maybe you should go out with this clown. Since you think you're too good for me. See you around, tough guy. Miss Logan. Miss Logan.
Steven?
I was hoping I might have the honor of calling on you at home one day this week.
Oh, well, yes, of course.
Shall we say day after tomorrow?
All right.
Miss Logan.
First one was long enough.
Hey, you. You got a problem? Feel the pain of underground film.
That's good enough. The Ketchup King isn't a great clip. And the sound cut out. I think she said, it says, feel the pain of underground film, and then the kick of outlaw cinema. Why'd the sound cut out?
You got a problem? Feel the pain of underground film.
They didn't upload it well. That was it. Hey, you got a problem. John Waters. I met John Waters. That was cool. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate you guys. I'll check my super chats. I will have to set the video briefly to private, or I don't know what I'll have to set it to. Something that I'll edit out that one part, and then we'll fix the doxing problem. Let me check my super chats, also called buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Somebody gave me 10 coffees. Thank you very much. Oh, great. We have a great day today. Irie B bought 10 coffees, says it's really great to have you back. Thanks for your continued hard work. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, Irie B. 10 coffees. Appreciate you. Hobie Cobwebs bought 3 coffees, said, hi, Nathan. I'm so glad you're back on the podcast. I miss you when you're gone. I hope you're doing good. Wow, almost the same message. Thank you. And the Branch bought me a coffee, said, there is no coffee without the grind. Wang half. This can be an educational moment on the show. Wang half. Does anybody want to put in the chat what that means? Wang half. You'll see in Nick Fuentes' chat, he sells a t-shirt that says Wang half, and I appreciate that statement. Sometimes I say that in chats because I am kind of a groyper sometimes. Wang half means white ass nigga going hard as fuck. That's what it stands for. Because that's me too, also. Robbins LA super chats. You can't do the real super chats, but you can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, and coffees are $5 each. So, and you should give me many, because my daily coffee with tip is $8 here where I live in California, where things are expensive. And the cookies I eat are also expensive. So every day I have coffee and cookies to fuel my mind and give me cavities. So I have to go to the dentist. But my coffee, I take it without sugar. If you want to know, I get a 24-ounce iced latte with 3 shots. That's how I get. It's kind of a girl drink, but I know, but it's expensive with tip. So help me out. You can do it anytime. Yes, I'm working on a super chat option. My channel is up for review right now. Hopefully they'll monetize it. The videos will never be monetized, because even when the channel's monetized, I can get super chats. They won't monetize my videos, but maybe they'll let me get super chats in the future. And then if you guys want to give them to me, I still encourage you to use alternative means, because YouTube takes 30%, but it's okay if you give me super chats when that's allowed. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Great show. We'll give you more news tomorrow. Also probably at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. my time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.